I love your hair short. I'm living for this.
Everybody's been saying that lately, so thank you.
You look like very powerful like this, I feel like. I think this is a look for you.
Thanks. Literally everybody's been like, I love the short hair on you. So I've been like, all right.
I love it. I love it so much. You look stunning.
Thank you. How
are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
About you. I am so excited.
I'm good. I just had a shoot with Jesse. It was supposed to be on Friday.
Okay.
And then stuff happened and Angelica's dog got sick. So we ended up moving it to today. So it was my last shoot before Miss USA, which is so weird. I was like, we were like, it's a wrap. I was like, oh my God.
So happy.
But we got some really, really, really cool things that I've been wanting to do. So I'm excited.
Yay. Okay.
I'm excited. But
I literally cannot wait to like see you on stage. Like it's gonna be such a different feeling to like watch you live on television. Like
I legitimately can't think about it because, you know, you grow up watching these girls and looking up to them and being like, oh my God, I always want to be like them. And it like, I don't feel like that. So I'm like literally like this all the time. I'm like, there's no way. So it's very weird, but it's very exciting. Thank you for always supporting me and being so sweet. I adore you.
Absolutely, I adore you too. Well, I want to start off by thanking you for doing this interview with me, and we've been trying to get this together for so long. So I'm excited. So everybody, I can say this, even though because I'm gonna have to like literally post this. So I want to kind of start off with you giving just a little bit of a background of yourself. Let the people know who you are.
So hi guys, I'm Gina Mellish, the current Miss New Jersey USA. Yay! And Chenoa and I have become really close through pageantry. You're one of my favorite people I've met, so I'm so happy that we're able to do this together. And I was also a former Miss New Jersey Teen USA, so pageantry is a little close to my heart. It's not my first rodeo this year. I just graduated with my degree in fashion merchandising and public relations from Marist College, so I'm washed up and old now, ready to start my adult life.
Because then, Dag, what am I?
I know, it's fine. We can tell everyone you're 21 too. It's okay. What else about me? I love to travel. Traveling is one of my absolute favorite things. As you know, I'm a workshop facilitator for One Love, which is so close to my heart and has basically just picked up a whole mind of its own this year. I'm so grateful that I was still able to work with them from home and kind of just develop a platform all on its own. It really just kind of took a whole new life form. So I'm so grateful for that opportunity. And that's pretty much Gina Mellish in a nutshell.
Oh, that was perfect. I love it. So I'm actually really grateful because I know that you work with One Love as a workshop facilitator. Is that right? Okay,
yes.
Perfect. Yes. I want to make sure I'm getting
You're doing great.
So tell us a little bit about like how you got into doing that, like, you know, and let us know also about your platform because you've been doing such an amazing job with raising awareness for domestic violence. So tell us more about that.
Thank you. So for anyone listening who doesn't know what the One Love Foundation is, it was founded by a mother who unfortunately lost her daughter, Yardley Love, to relationship abuse just a few weeks before she was about to graduate college. Her boyfriend at the time took her life, and it was a complete surprise to her parents. Her parents had no idea that her relationship was unhealthy, and they truly believed that her death could have been prevented had she known the signs of relationship abuse. And how I came to know One Love. Oh my God, I just get chills. I always get chills when I talk about that. You know, it's just, it's crazy. But how I came to know One Love was I was in a very unhealthy relationship for about 3 years at the time. And at that point in the relationship, I knew something was up, but I didn't know how to get help. And I am a true believer, you know this for sure, but I am a true believer that God puts people and things in your life when you really, really need it. And my freshman year of college, I was feeling very isolated in my relationship. And so what better thing to do than go out for sorority, right? Like to surround yourself with a bunch of girls. So I ended up going out for sorority. And I came to One Love very organically. I always feel like One Love came to me. Yeah. And one of the mandatory events we had to go to was a One Love workshop. I had no idea what One Love was, had no clue, just thought I was being the good sister, decided to show up. And I sat in the back row next to the donuts and cried my eyes out during this workshop. I was like, wow, I really feel like someone is talking to me. Like I don't feel alone anymore. And basically the entire workshop depicted a relationship from beginning to end. Unfortunately, the ending being very parallel to Yardley's life. And it showed all the unhealthy signs very early on. And I was sitting there checking all these boxes like, oh my God, I experienced that. I experienced that. I experienced that on a daily basis. And then when it came to the end and I saw the ending of how they chose to end that story, I was like, you know what? That can't be me. I don't want my mom to get that phone call, and I can do better. I have people here who genuinely want to help me and they understand. And for a long time, I didn't want to be a stigma. I didn't want to be a victim of domestic violence because I didn't think of it as that, honestly. I just thought there was a relationship that was extremely unhealthy. And then it got physical and I was like, what now? And so the way that One Love presents themselves is so genuine and they come from a place of positivity and light, and that's what attracted me. And so I worked with them and found my inner peace and healed. And then finally I was like, you know what? I want to host that workshop. Like they changed my life, and I know if they can reach me, if I reach one person, I'm doing a good job. And so I became a workshop facilitator and I started hosting workshops at Marist. And then COVID hit and I actually started doing them at home on Zoom and reaching people that I never thought I would be able to reach. So that has been so incredible. And it's been a healing process at the same time. Yeah. So it's been amazing.
That I'm so happy because it was like when I was reading, because I know you posted an article for like Sway Media, and I was reading it and I was just like, wow, like I know Gina, and we were like, we were chatting, we were talking, but of course when we were at the pageant, we were so pageant focused.
Yeah.
So after reading it, I was like, wow, I felt like I got this little window into your life. So I read it and I literally had tears swelling in my eyes, and I was like, I don't know how I would feel to know if he would not be here today.
Right. It was such an interesting journey writing that too, because I had always wanted to share my story and I didn't know how. And I actually met Iman, the founder of Sway Media, through an appearance. And I was like, oh, what's Sway? This is so cool. And then she was like, you should write for us. And I was like, wow, this is a great opportunity.
Easy, that quick.
Yeah. Because, like it's different writing your own story coming from your own mouth and your own perspective than someone writing an article about you. And I had done interviews for newspapers and magazines and News 12, and it's different when it's coming from your own mouth. And there were so many things I wrote deleted, and even the day that I went to post that, I was like so apprehensive because it's so hard being vulnerable sometimes. And I was like, you know what? This isn't for me. At this point, I've been through this. This isn't for me. This is for everyone else. I want people to know why it's important to educate yourself and that this can happen to anyone. Even me as a Miss New Jersey, it can happen to anyone. And so thank you for reading that. And that I'm glad that it did exactly to you what I really wanted it to do.
Yes, no, it really, really did. So I'm really grateful. Thank you for sharing that piece of yourself because it's hard. And I love that. That's part of the reason why I started Girl Talk, was to have those conversations in a safe and inclusive space for all women.
I love it.
And I seen your article like on Sway Media. I'm like, oh my God, this is like perfect. So now, ever since then, like I've been on there, like reading different articles and everything like that. I even like spoke to you about podcasts.
Yes.
I want to get into this, but back on topic. Let me get back. So I wanted to kind of like just discuss with you, because you know so much, especially for any of our young girls who are out there that are watching in relationships and who may not be able to see any unhealthy signs. What do those look like?
So the unhealthy signs that were most prevalent in my relationship, isolation was one of them. So a tactic that abusers, partners technically do is they start to isolate you from your friends, and then your family. And so what that actually looks like, it's more of your partner saying, hey, I don't want you hanging out with that person, or spend less time with that person, or I don't like that friend, she's not a good influence on you. And that's how it starts. And then it finally goes into building mistrust between you and your family members, and really making you feel emotionally and physically isolated. And that's really what I felt like. And it was hard because I lost a lot of friends. My friends did not like the person I was dating. But it's hard because you're in love. So you feel like, oh my goodness, like, why doesn't anyone like care about this person? It's very sticky. But that's what isolation looks like. Manipulation is another huge unhealthy sign. And that starts off very small as well. Manipulating you into maybe doing something that you wouldn't be comfortable doing, whatever that is. It could be a very small thing, like taking an extra shot or smoking or doing something that you wouldn't normally do. And what else is really prevalent? I think volatility.
Okay.
So for anyone who doesn't know what volatility means, it's basically when you feel like you have to walk on eggshells all the time around someone. And that's very difficult because that can happen. So when you feel like you're scared to be yourself, or you're scared to be just doing you and what makes you you, then candid, that's the word I was looking for. I was like, I'm looking for a word and I can't remember. Then that's a huge problem. Like, your partner needs to accept you for who you are, and you should be able to share that part of yourself and life with your partner. So why I love talking about the unhealthy signs is because they start off so little. And that's why I teach the workshop, to help people realize what they look like in the earliest form, because they do escalate into abuse. No relationship starts off abusive, right? Like, everyone puts their best foot forward. Everyone puts their best foot forward in a relationship, or else you would never date the person. So once you start to see these unhealthy things and you can recognize and identify with them, then that should be the light bulb in your head saying something is off, something is not right, I need to move on.
Okay. All right. I like that. For everybody who's listening and anybody who is actually going to watch this video, definitely understand that there are signs. Like, I feel like sometimes with relationships, like when we're so, like you said, like when we're in love and we don't see them,
right?
We don't know. Luckily, like so in unhealthy relationships, because like, of course, when you're in high school or in college and you're dating and you're all about this person, you would never believe anything bad about them. I remember, like, with my very first boyfriend, my family did not like him at all. So I think based upon the things that they saw between us, they were able to say, hey, listen, we love you and we support you. And especially Auntie, like,
she's like, girl, you need to find somebody else.
pretty much. Like, so with that, like, she was able to actually see things that were unhealthy. And it was a point where he had cheated on me, honestly, so bad. And I was willing to go back and make it work. And I think at that point, you know, you're in high school, and I think with me, losing my mom, I had a lot of vulnerability that I had to work through. So my aunt like realized like, hey, like, no, we can't do this. We can't put ourselves back in that same situation. And by cheating on me, like with someone that at the time I considered like my best friend. So I think that I think I was trying to fill like that hole, or that, you know, that hole in my life. And I was so quick and ready to go back that even with like all of the gifts that he had gotten me, like I thought that was enough.
And that's manipulation right there, you know, doing this and saying, oh, but I love you, here's something, you know, that's another thing. It's so hard because unfortunately people who are like that are very good at it.
Yeah. Okay, so for us, I have a question. Like, can you take a unhealthy relationship and work at it to make it healthy? Like, is that a thing?
You know, unfortunately, I'm not a professional. I wish I had every healthy relationship answer in the world.
Yeah.
But I think that for me, no. Because I know, experiencing what I have experienced, I know what I want in a relationship, and I know what I can bring to the table in a relationship. And no one is perfect. Everyone's going to do unhealthy things sometimes, but in unhealthy relationships, I have had multiple times where I have tried, and it doesn't work, and the unhealthy behaviors continue to show their face again. And even if you try to make it work, and this is my personal opinion, every relationship is different. You know, if your unhealthy partner is the father of your child, like this is a completely different conversation. But for me personally, the reason why I wouldn't try to turn something unhealthy into something healthy is because I know I'm worthy and deserving of something better. And I think that is what I try to tell people now, especially with One Love, because they're like, well, I'm experiencing these things, like, how do I fix it? And, you know, talk to your partner, say, listen, I'm not comfortable with this. Like, this is not okay. Like, set those boundaries. And if that doesn't work, then head on out, sister, because there's someone right around the corner who is not going to treat you like that. And I have just been trying to encourage people to tell them that there is a healthy love out there, and you are more than worthy and more deserving. And sometimes we don't understand that, but once we grow to accept that, then we look for different things.
I love it. Okay, yes, let's touch on that. Like, communication and boundaries.
Yes.
You know, that is something that is very, very much so needed in a relationship.
Yes.
Of course, speaking from experience, how does that look for you? Like, as far as like communication and boundaries go?
So, I have an incredible boyfriend right now. I'm so lucky because honestly, it's very rare that you can find someone that is so supportive during this process to Miss USA. I mean, there's days where I'll have 3 text messages to him where, you know, because I'm on set from 10 a.m. to, you know, whatever. And then I have a podcast and I have this. So it's definitely hard to find someone who is so supportive in that way. So I'm extremely lucky. But these are conversations that I had with him prior to competing to Miss New Jersey. I said, hey, listen, God willing, I win. And this is what this year is going to look like. And it's going to be hard. But, you know, I set those boundaries and say, listen, like, there's times in our life, especially with social media, people think they have access into our lives. You know, we feel like, I personally feel like I know Kylie Jenner. I don't know her, but, you know, we can follow her and we have access to messaging her. And so people think they have access to our lives, and that is not the case. You know, when people text us, we are not expected to respond right away. we have that opportunity and we have set that boundary. And I think that's something tricky, the communication that social media has come into play and technology, because people have such easy access. I mean, hello. So, but seriously, we have to set those boundaries and say, you know what, I'm not ready to text you back. I'll text you back when I'm not busy. Or, hey, I have 5 meetings today. Let me call you later. And of course, his feelings are important and valid. And I need to make sure I'm meeting those needs of the relationship too. But there comes a time when you need to say, like, all right, I need to get my stuff done before I can come be my whole self into this relationship.
Yes, I was just about to say that. Like, I think very much so when you are in a relationship as an, not even say like as an adult, but in a relationship as a whole, I think as you get older, you definitely understand yourself and your self-awareness level way more than you are when you're a teenager, or, you know, even maybe like 19, 20. Like, honestly, I felt like my self-awareness didn't really start kicking into high gear until I was like 22, 23.
Oh, that have a little ways to go. I'm an old soul.
No, honestly, I was just like, you are one of the most mature women that I've ever met. And when you said 21, I said, wow, I feel old. It's like, God, but you're amazing. So no, don't stop. And then also, yeah, like literally communication and boundaries, that's something that even for myself, I had to realize like was very, very worthy of setting. And even like with the current person that I'm like dating, I'm just like, yeah, like, you know, let's do that. Let's have those conversations where we can actually sit and digress what we need from each other, what we want from each other, because as you move forward, people change. No one's linear. So it's very imperative to have those conversations, right? Like to have those conversations of figuring out how to, I guess, let's say, reconfigure your relationship. So I love it. And I love you guys. Like, oh my God. I'm like,
thank you. And I know that I'm going to have to take the back seat when he goes to law school. So it's okay. I'm okay with that. Like, it's all good.
That's it. Like, you guys have both had, like, it's clear that you guys have both had those really great conversations to understanding the balance of each other's needs and wants.
And honestly, I was upfront with him probably within the first 3 weeks we started dating. And I opened up to him about my previous relationship, because as someone who has experienced like a lot of trauma and a lot of toxic behaviors, I said, listen, this is stuff that I went through that I don't want to go through again. And, you know, like, I'm not going to take out my healing process onto you, but I need you to understand that, like, if we're going to move forward, this is what I want and this is what I don't want. And that is more than okay. We need to make sure we set those boundaries early on, that we're at a comfortable pace that everyone agrees on. That's also extremely important. Whether you're going fast and everyone's cool with that, you're taking it slow, everyone's cool with that. And we just need to make sure that we're always on the same page. And if you're not, just have a conversation. It's all good. And if you get judged from it, peace. Bye.
I love it. Oh my God. And that goes into my next thing. Like, so do you feel like social media or even romantic comedy movies have played a strong role in the way we view relationships?
Abso-freaking-lutely. And I will tell you why. Because, you know, One Love has said this multiple times, and this is my favorite quote for them. We are taught so many things in life. We are never taught how to love. There is no recipe. There is no playbook. There is no map. And it's up to us to figure out how to do that. And the examples that we have are our relationships around us. So whether that's our family, our friendships, and not everyone's family relationships are healthy, and not everyone has the same family tree. You know, there's different types of relationships. Or B, culturally, socially, we see our relationships, whether that's in movies, whether it's on social media. And Instagram is a highlight reel of people's lives. We put the best things on there. And these movies are, you know, also highlight reels. And I think that, you know,
cupcake phase. We get the cupcake phase of the movie. see what happens after they get the girl or after they kiss. It's
right.
Ending movie.
We need to start normalizing having conversations like this. And, especially when, the Netflix series You came out.
Yeah.
That honestly, it was a great show to watch. Like, I love stuff like that, but it hurt my heart because people watch that and think that that behavior is acceptable.
Okay.
And it was interesting to see the story from his perspective. Like, I thought from a director's point of view, that's really interesting. But unfortunately, it normalizes behavior like that. And so I think we need less portrayals of things like that and more healthy betrayals of people, talking relationships out and seeing things from a more healthy perspective. I mean, it was a great show to watch, but at the same time, I know that's unhealthy. Not everyone knows that stalking is unhealthy, unfortunately.
But no, I definitely get it. I've said that. So like, as much as I love Disney and Disney movies and my Disney princesses, I'm just it's what we have seen growing up so much. That's how we think about love. At least a lot of girls, like,
right.
I feel. So when you get that and it's like you're finally dating this person, you expect these rainbows and butterflies, and while we get them, it also takes a lot of hard work to keep up a relationship.
Yes.
It's not something that you can just give up on.
Right.
And I've noticed, like, within my past, and it's because of my family dynamic. Me having the trauma of, like, losing my mom, it's my mindset was always like, well, I lost the one person that mattered the most to me. So is it really bad if someone else decides to walk out of my life?
Right.
Not the greatest mindset to have. And it also, I feel like it's why I try to, like, hold on so tight to people now that I genuinely care about. But it's literally like, how can I say this? Like, it's like I'm okay with allowing people to just go. So while not fighting for those relationships, and of course we're young, we're in high school, it's like literally that, like, they just come and go. It's like these people are kind of just coming into your life, and it's like you don't have to necessarily create the space for that.
Right.
You literally know how to just have a healthy love.
And I love that. I love how, not everyone needs to have a place in your life. Not everyone has to have a place in your heart that comes in, that comes in with boundaries. If that person doesn't fit in with your life, that's okay. There's so many people in this world. And, I think that we need to save that space for the people that are worthy of that,
I do. That was from our girl talk previously. We're even within, like, friendships, and I was telling you about how
from our off-camera girl talk.
Yes, like, from when I had, like, friendships, and I felt like, just the way I was raised, or like the things that was happening, like, within the friendships, where I didn't feel valued, I didn't feel appreciated as a friend, and so I had to genuinely let those people go, or people who became my friend because of circumstance, like, me transferring into a school or something like that, and now they're my roommates, so it's like, well, yeah, we're gonna be buddy because I have to see you all the time. So I think, like, even with that, but my next question that I wanted to ask is just talking about you, like, as far as, like, what you're doing, like, how have you empowered your community and our generation pretty much to love better?
Well, I think it starts with normalizing the conversations about relationships. I feel like for a long time, relationships have kind of been like a passe to talk about. Like, no one really talks about, the unhealthy and healthy things. And I think that's where the conversation starts. And I have been fortunate enough to share my story and kind of dive deeper into the conversation about destigmatizing victims. because for a long time, I had denial that I was a quote unquote victim. I didn't want to fit that part. You know, at the time I was Miss New Jersey Teen USA. So I thought, oh, I'm living this glamorous life. I'm not a victim. Like, what are you talking about? And there's nothing negative about that. If anything, I've learned that I'm not a victim. In fact, I'm a survivor. And so having these conversations about, you know, what this behavior is not acceptable is also extremely important. And so I've been lucky enough to do those workshops virtually and, you know, continue to write for Sway and talk about my experiences. But also in the beginning of quarantine, domestic violence stats rose 35% because everyone was in stay-at-home orders. And this was extremely alarming to me, and I kind of put myself into my old shoes and was like, what if I was co-quarantined with my abuser? What would I do? And unfortunately, it strips the privacy of a lot of women. We have resources like the National Domestic Violence Hotline and the Love is Respect text hotline. But when you're co-quarantined with an abuser, you're stripped of that privacy. So countries in Europe actually implemented a code word in pharmacies for women to use because pharmacies and grocery stores were the only essential businesses open. And I noticed this and I was like, okay, this is literally genius. Why don't we have this resource here? And I actually reached out to some local elected officials. I reached out to law enforcement. I reached out to our domestic violence shelter. And I was like, I might be a little 21-year-old fashion major, but like, let's make it happen. And we got something implemented that's similar. And it's not exactly the same code word that's in France and Spain and the UK, but it's tailored to our domestic violence shelter. And I'm really excited and proud of that because I didn't really think that would be something that as Miss New Jersey I'd be doing. But once we, you know, came in for quarantine, I was like, how can I leave my legacy? I'm not doing appearances. I'm not going out. What can I do that reflects me and leaving my legacy behind so that when I pass my crown down, my energy is still here. Like, what can I do? And I'm so happy about that. And I really hope that I can advocate for that on a national level, and hopefully take that to Miss USA. So I'm excited, but.
For you, like oh my God, I'm really excited. Okay, awesome. So I'm gonna ask this question, but I feel like it definitely has, based upon like the conversation we just had. But how has your experience with the relationships made you stronger? Like, how do you feel personally after experiencing and enduring that?
I think it's a very hard thing to experience on your mental health, on your confidence. Afterwards, I felt extremely insecure and basically started from the bottom. I'm like, how can I build up my confidence? And talking about my experiences and talking about what healthy love looks like and really telling myself with positive affirmations like, I am worthy of a healthy love. I'm deserving of that. There's one out there, and there was one. And, you know, it's it's been a very empowering experience sharing my story, but also helping other women share theirs. And that's something that I didn't expect to do, and I didn't expect to have the impact that I've had. But that's what pushes me, and that's what drives me, because I know that from experience, relationship abuse does not discriminate. 1 in 3 women experience relationship abuse in their lifetime. That is a staggering statistic, like staggering. So we have to continue to educate ourselves on what that looks like, because the odds of it happening to us, the odds of it showing its face are so high. But if we give ourselves the knowledge, if we empower ourselves with that knowledge, we can prevent it from happening to us if we can identify it. And so I've been trying to take my experiences to help educate other people so that when it shows their face, you know, they can say, this is not for me, and I'm worth more than that.
I love it.
Did I make you cry?
You are. Like, first off, if you don't become Miss USA, I don't understand. All right. So last question, because I
Yeah.
really want any young girls who are out there who may be experiencing this to definitely understand that this is something that they can walk away from. There, like you said, there is a healthy relationship waiting for them on the other side. The grass is greener, ladies.
The grass is greener here, guys.
So what advice, honestly, do you have for young women who may be stuck within an unhealthy relationship?
Empower yourself to know that you're worthy of more. I've said that like 5 times, but it's so true. Sometimes we just have to nail the coffin there. But honestly, there is no shame in asking for help. There's no shame in reaching out to people. I talk to the people a lot at One Love and continue to do so. And it's so important to have these conversations. So have a conversation. And also, there has been such a strong presence of community within survivors. I mean, I have made some of my closest friends through One Love. Yeah, and even just talking about our experiences. Sarah Rapoli, she's the founder of Angel Energy, where I did my clothing collaboration with, and her clothing brand donates her proceeds to survivors of domestic violence. And her mom was actually shot and killed by her dad when she was in the house and she was 5. And that is such a traumatizing experience. And while our experiences are so different, we were able to connect on a level that is so unique because we share something similar. Yeah. And I think that no matter what level you have experienced it, small, intense, you can reach out. You can talk to people. There's so many women that have gone through this and go through this every day. And even just the small unhealthy behaviors, it's okay to talk about that too. And reach out to me if you ever need anything. Like, I have had so many girls reach out to me and just be like, am I crazy or am I right? Yeah. And it's important to have these conversations,
Yeah. Oh my God, that makes me so happy. And yes, I'm going to leave, if you don't mind, like your information, like your Instagram.
Yes.
So that way they can, if anybody has any questions, and even if you guys don't feel comfortable coming to me, like, have me here. So I'm definitely going to make sure I leave your information to the description box on our YouTube and everything. And once I get this video all like pampered and pop up on here. So I am just so thankful that you have extended your time, because you are the busiest person that I absolutely
anything for you.
Thank you for coming on to the Girl Talk web series with me today, and definitely just talking about like the power of having a healthy relationship, knowing the signs. I'm also going to link the information for One Love too, as well, so that way they have it. I want anybody who's going through this to have the necessary resources that you've had, and to be able to connect with you, like you said, so that way they can definitely push through.
And even if you're in a healthy relationship, like, these are all signs that we should be aware of, whether it's with family, friends, like we can, no one's perfect, so we can always strive for these unhealthy behaviors, but we can also learn when we can have improvement, and we can show, and we can learn to love better. It's not always all about relationship abuse. It can just be about, am I being the best daughter to my mom? Am I being the best friend to my friends? Am I being the best girlfriend to my boyfriend? And I think that's so important too. So just learning those and becoming more self-aware.
Well, Gina, thank you so much again coming on here, and definitely having that vulnerability with me, and offering that and sharing that in this space, so that way again other girls can hear your story. So thank you.
Love you.
I love you too. And I look forward to seeing you on stage at Miss USA. Everyone, please make sure you support her. All of my Jersey girls who are going to see this, support her on November 9th. Because
eat some pizza for me while I'm up there.
I'll have a slice. I have you covered. But yes, thank you again for joining me. And
love you so much.
Definitely, I love you too so much. You have no idea. Seriously. From my mug, you got me. Love this girl, guys. So Thank you. And please tell your mom I said hi.
I will. Love you.
I love you too.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.